Today I'm looking at one of Fractal Design's Edison M power supplies. This is their 750 watt model. I'm Rodney Reynolds and let's get on with the review. Looking impressive from the outside, this box has all kinds of pictures, features, and specifications about it. Now let's open it up. Inside they include 4 quality Velcro ties, a user's guide, the modular leads, and note that these are flat and flexible. That's super. 4 black regular screws for mounting the power supply in the case. And the power supply itself, well, it's in this foam, very well packaged, plus in this cloth bag. Oh, and they do include a power cord. Now, there are currently 4 of these Edison M power supplies in the lineup, a 450 watt model, 550 watt model, 650 watt model, and the one that I will be reviewing today, the 750 watt model. Now they're talking about wattage. Well, we need to figure out how that's determined, and to do so, we will need to talk about rails. Rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into the voltages that your computer system can use, and there are essentially 2 different rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. In this particular case, the approximate maximum peak output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 100 watts, and the 12 volt is 744 watts, which is essentially how the wattage of this power supply is determined. Now, the 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, optical drives, fans, CPU, video cards, etc. It is also crucial, really, to know the peak amps on each rail. Both the 3.3 volt and the 5 volt rails are 20 amps each, and this has a single plus 12 volt rail, and it's 62 amps. Now, there are a number of important things to remember when selecting a power supply, and I know a lot of you have watched my videos on power supplies before, can probably skip this section, although there is some important information in there for you and for newbies. The first, obviously, is wattage. You need to determine how much wattage you are going to require by the amount of hardware that you will be installing. Now, generally speaking, a medium to high-end gaming rig would require a 500 to 700 watt power supply. For a hardcore system, select a power supply that's around 800 watts. If, however, you are building an extreme gaming rig with a top-of-the-line multiple video cards set up with lots of other hardware, select a power supply that's 1000 watts or greater. Second, it should be at or above 80% efficiency. This power supply's efficiency is 90.49% at 50% load, and the average efficiency is 89.11%. Third, it should meet the latest ATX and other current standards, environmental directives over voltage, under voltage, and other protections, and this power supply meets all current standards. Fourth, I'd recommend choosing a power supply that has APFC. APFC, or active power factor correction, assists the power supply in being more efficient and therefore stable under load. APFC basically reduces total harmonics, corrects input voltage, and it allows for full input voltage range. Thankfully, this power supply has APFC. Fifth, there are 3 main certifications: 80+, NVIDIA SLI, and AMD Crossfire. Now, many of today's high-end power supplies will meet one or more of these certifications. This power supply meets the 80+ gold certification. Sixth, look for a power supply that uses Japanese capacitors because it ensures a much more reliable product than a power supply with low-grade capacitors. Now, that being said, this power supply has a combination of Japanese and Taiwanese capacitors. Finally, get a power supply that has enough leads for your setup. Also consider a power supply that has a modular design because it does reduce the cable mess inside of the case. Also, very, very important, get a power supply with an excellent warranty so you won't have to worry for a long period of time, and this power supply comes with a 5-year warranty. Okay, so let's have a closer look at the power supply. Of course, it is all steel, painted black, but as you can see, there's some white accents on it, their logo, and some more information about the power supply, and stamped right in is their logo. Now, this power supply comes with a 120mm fan, super quiet, along with a power switch, and here's of course where the power cord gets connected. Now, this isn't a 100% modular power supply, rather the main leads are hardwired into the power supply and cannot be removed. They do have a grommet here protecting the cables as they exit the power supply. Good, you don't want these to chafe. Now, the main 24-pin motherboard lead is not flat and flexible. The other 2 are. I'll go over those in just a minute, but it is sleeved. It's quite a nice braiding job done on that. The other two, one is a 4-pin/8-pin motherboard lead, and the other one is a 6/8-pin video card or PCI Express lead. The remainder, though, are super sexy and flexible, flat, flexible modular leads. Finally, let's have a listen to the 120mm fan. There are lots of 750 watt power supplies on the market, and to be honest, it is a perfect wattage for just about everyone. So people are looking for them. So should you buy this? Well, yes and no. It's pretty on par with a lot of others. There's nothing that really distinguishes itself, but a few things. First of all, the price, it is reasonable. I think it's, above $100, but below $150. It looks good. I mean, you can't argue with that. It's quasi-modular, and they do have flat, flexible modular leads. I love those things, and really easy connections here at the back. They are labeled. And one thing that some people might have difficulty with is the combination of Japanese and Taiwanese capacitors, but that's how a lot of companies are going. And for consumer use, to be honest, it is more than adequate. But if you want all Japanese capacitors, then, well, this is really out. Overall, though, it's a kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.